Batman the Animated Series had a classic lineup of many villains that we all know and love. But with the sequel comic book, it's time to explore characters that never showed up in the original cartoon, such as Deathstroke. This is the Comicstorian channel where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites, reading you back a dramatic reading of a synopsis of the storyline. We give you key plot points and I act out some of the characters because we have a lot of fun doing those videos right here at the channel. But the purpose of this channel is to help you understand what is happening in the world of comics so that you can buy the next book or go buy this book at your local retailer or digital outlet and get a better context as to what is happening. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Now, as I said in the intro, Batman the Animated Series has a sequel comic book, which has a first season. We've been producing these videos for our Patreons as they voted on it. And you can go and join that vote at patreon.com/comicstorian. But today we're going to be bringing you issues 3, 4, 5, and 6, which tells the story of Deathstroke within the world of Batman the Animated Series. If you enjoyed this video, please consider pressing that bell and turning on notifications so you can know when the next video comes out in this series. We're bringing you 2 to 5 comic book themed videos on a weekly basis, trying to make you the comic book expert that you've always dreamed of being. Now let's get into Batman, the adventure continues. A mysterious man walks down the streets of Gotham, ignoring the crime that passes by, because he has a goal tonight. He leaps up on the fire escape, climbing to the roof of a nearby building, and in the streets below, Batman, Batgirl, and the new Robin fight against the raving Clayface. The monster shouts how he won't allow one of his classic movies to be remade. The Bat family surrounds him, and Clayface manages to split into two, with Batman dealing with one of them as Batgirl and Robin chase the other into a nearby alleyway. The mysterious man watching, though, shifts his position, choosing to watch Batgirl and Robin. He notes the younger hero's anger, something that might both help and hinder him. And as Robin gets too close, Clayface double wraps a tentacle around him, lifting him into the air. Suddenly, our new hero leaps from the nearby rooftop. "Looks like you could use a hand. Or two," Deathstroke shouts as he brings a sword down, slashing through Clayface. He swings again, cutting off the villain's arm, and as Clayface tries to yell, he suddenly spins, falling to the ground. Fast-acting sedative. He'll wake up in 6 hours with nothing more than a bad headache. If Mud couldn't have a headache, of course. Deathstroke helps Robin to his feet, and Batman interrupts them. "Deathstroke. That's the codename I've heard associated with a mercenary that matches your description. I think you'd be the first to advocate using a fear-inducing title, Batman," Deathstroke says to the Dark Knight. And with those words, he backflips away, landing on a speeding van. Robin is in awe, and then he turns around as his eyes widen with embarrassment. "Okay, he was awesome," Robin tells them. The next night, as Batgirl finishes dealing with another villain, she returns to her motorcycle to discover Deathstroke relaxing on the seat. He congratulates her for defeating Roxy so easily, and she turns to him. "If you're looking for an autograph, I don't sign them." Batgirl tells him as she jumps onto her bike, and Deathstroke realizes that the woman doesn't trust him. So, he removes his mask, hoping that revealing his face will gain some trust out of her. He tells her that he admires her and Robin's skill, believing that Batman has trained them both well. But there is far more work outside of Gotham for her and Robin. "I'm fine where I am. Are you? For example, are you aware that you're being watched?" he asks as he motions to the rooftop where the mysterious stranger is watching. "He knows. He knows," the man gasps as he looks at them, quickly turning and leaping into the shadows. The next morning, the family sit around the breakfast table as Barbara tells them about Deathstroke and the mysterious stranger. "With Deathstroke, stay away from him until I learn more," Bruce orders them. Meanwhile, in the middle of the city, Deathstroke is leaping through the skylight, moving against the training dummies quickly and firing his pistol, taking out a few with his sword. But he misses one, and his partner Sonny manages to shoot it. With training done, he congratulates her on the plan to use Clayface to draw the Bat family out. "However, we aren't the only ones with eyes on Batman and his team," as Deathstroke explains the mysterious man. She asks if he knows who it is, but Deathstroke shakes his head, commenting that there's always room for one more on the kill list, whirling and stabbing his sword into the dummy of Batman nearby. The next night, Robin speeds down the road on his motorcycle, complaining to Alfred that Batman decided to pull the curfew cord when they were going after the Wonderland gang. Alfred reminds him that it is a school night, so Robin looks up to see Deathstroke leaping across the rooftops. He promises Alfred he'll be right home, and screeches off down the road. As Deathstroke is descending into the darkness of Gotham's zoo, Robin calls out, "What, you like bugs so much you couldn't wait until opening hours?" Deathstroke turns, congratulating the boy for getting the drop on him. But next time, you might want to lead with a weapon instead of a quip, if you're serious about defeating your enemy. Slade informs him, so Robin jumps down, questioning if they are enemies. Allies. You've inserted yourself into my business here, so you're under my protection tonight. He explains to the boy that he is hunting fireflies. A man who was at a crazy accident in Germany and burned himself beyond recognition, and since then he has grown crazier and deadlier. And as they move through the building, Deathstroke tells Robin that Firefly always breaks into a zoo when he arrives for a job and collects rare insects. And suddenly, he stops the boy with a raise of his hand. Do you hear that buzzing? Move! And with that, a hornet swarm surrounds them. Meanwhile, Batman stands over the defeated Wonderland gang, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees the glint of binoculars. Batman moves fast, leaping into a nearby staircase, jumping through a window, getting to the location of the mysterious stranger. But he's gone. Batman checks the roof's door, but dust shows that no one has used it recently. How did he leave so quickly? Batman wonders to himself. But back at the zoo, Robin and Deathstroke continue to leap away from the swarming hornets. Robin has an idea, pulling off his cape, swirling it around, grabbing the hornets in the fabric. He then leaps down, grabbing the nearby fire extinguisher, blasting the hornets with it, making them too heavy to fly. Not bad, though you might want to think of a more permanent solution next time. But as Deathstroke tells him that, they're interrupted by a blast of fire that hits the ground between them. Looks like I've hit the big time! I've got Interpol so shaken up, they've hired the great Deathstroke to snuff me out! Firefly calls as he flies over their head, shooting flames at them, but a batarang suddenly smacks him in the back of the head. Hey, over here, hot stuff! Robin shouts, and Firefly turns on him, readying the flamethrower, but Deathstroke leaps, slashing the weapon out of his hands. As the gun drops, Robin moves in for the attack. Without his weapon, he's an iceberg, he calls to Deathstroke, but the merc tries to warn him as Firefly opens the mouth of his helmet. Let the kid learn for himself! Call it a baptism by fire! Firefly calls as he begins to breathe fire on the pair of them. They quickly turn and run, with Firefly following closely behind, the flames now shooting out of his gauntlets. He follows Robin, surrounding the young boy with flames, but Deathstroke leaps out of the shadows, kicking him hard in the face. Seems you forgot who your true opponent was. Allow me to remind you! He shouts, and Firefly falls into one of the nearby displays. As Deathstroke turns to see Robin having trouble breathing in all the flames and smoke. Time to get out of the sauna, old man! Hold on! Deathstroke says as he leaps through the air, grabbing the boy, carrying him to safety. He gets him to safety, telling him to stay put until he gets help, and then he draws his sword, stepping out to fight. The sprinkler system goes on and begins to shower them both, but the flames of Firefly refuse to go out. The room suddenly fills with smoke, and Batman leaps down into the skylight, his infrared mask easily picking up Firefly's heat signature. In one punch, he cracks his helmet. Oh, you're gonna burn, bats, next time! Firefly shouts, activating his gauntlets, disappearing into a bright explosion. Robin, Deathstroke, and Batman begin to chase after him, and as Robin tries to say something, Batman snaps at him. Go home, now! Deathstroke follows the Dark Knight as he stalks away from the scene, apologizing for not telling Robin to leave, and he once again comments on the boy's skill. But Batman shakes his head. You take too much interest in them, Slade. I don't like it. I don't condone assassins, Slade. When you find out where Firefly is, you let me know. You got it. Batman tells him as he turns to leave, and Slade nods his head, joking about a phone number. And when he turns back, Batman is gone. The next morning, Barbara arrives at Wayne Manor, heading down into the cave to find Bruce and Alfred at the computer, still trying to figure out who the mysterious stalker is. The satellite images capture the man leaping from the rooftops and using a micro-thin grappling hook. Bruce is shocked, commenting that the man has extraordinary skill and strength. Elsewhere in the city, the mysterious man pulls on a headset, listening in on Slade's conversation with the bug that he planted in their hideout. Sunny looks up at Slade, his face bruised and swollen where Batman punched her and cracked the Firefly helmet. You never said we'd be facing him this soon, she comments, unhappy. But Slade shakes his head, telling her to just think of it as practice. Yeah, tell him. She motions to a video call as Slade steps onto camera, bowing before Lex Luthor, but Luthor isn't happy, believing that Slade would just kill Batman and not put on a whole production with a fake Firefly. The mysterious man's eyes widen as he hears Slade's next words. Patience, Luthor. In the next 24 hours, we'll be making toast to the memory of the Batman. I'm holding you to that, Slade. Don't disappoint, Lex says before ending the call, and Sunny is surprised by Slade's promise. The less time he has to think, the better, Slade tells her as he turns and looks at the Firefly armor. You better get this hammered out tonight. We got a big payoff coming. That night, Batman leaps down to the GCPD because the bat signal is turned on to discover Gordon and the others unconscious. He's fine, they all are, it's knockout gas. Deathstroke informs Batman as he steps out of the shadows, stepping over the edge of the roof, telling Batman that he'll have to follow if he wants Firefly. Meanwhile, Tim calls Barbara in the library complaining that Batman has left him behind again, grounding him from his previous adventure with Deathstroke. Barbara understands but informs the boy that she doesn't know where Batman is. As she reaches into one of the nearby books that she's shelving, she's shocked to find a note. It's a trap. Outside, the mysterious stranger quickly puts distance between himself and the library, having left the note for Barbara. Meanwhile, Batman and Deathstroke arrive at the Tri-State Dam, and they quickly discover Lynn's bomb, and Deathstroke is getting to work disarming it, while Batman checks the rest of the place out. Firefly approaches Batman shouting, "Let's make a deal, Bats! I'll fly, you fry!" Firefly shouts to him, but Batman leaps off the catwalk, whirling mid-air, throwing an ice bomb at Firefly. Frozen, he falls to the ground, and Batman removes the helmet to reveal the face of Sonny, confirming his suspicions. He's not surprised, as he whirls quickly, avoiding a strike from Deathstroke's sword. He dodges several more attacks, but the Merc slashes him across the back as he tries to leap up to safety. "You've gone to a lot of trouble. Surely there must have been an easier way to set me up, Slade." "It's not just your death that I want, it's the whole operation!" Slade shouts, and Batman tries to leap away, but the catwalk collapses and he falls to the ground. Slade steps through the smoke, his sword at the ready, as he tells Batman that he'll leave his body burnt to a crisp and tell the others that he needs to hunt down fireflies to avenge the Dark Knight. "Can you imagine your protege's gratitude? I'll have them under my wing in no time, and with them, your entire enterprise!" He gloats as he lifts his blade for the killing blow. Two batarangs suddenly fly out, wrapping around him. Yakety yak, and I thought the Joker was a motor mouth. Robin jokes as Batgirl pulls Deathstroke off his feet. "This is unfortunate. I liked you both, but I guess a few more heads will have to roll." Batman rolls away, pulling a firebomb from Sonny's fake Firefly chest rig. "I told you to leave them alone!" he shouts as he throws the bomb at Deathstroke, the fire consuming his suit, but he doesn't feel it. "You've only made me more menacing, Batman!" But Batman knows that it's heating up inside as Deathstroke tries to strike his blade, creating a blinding light that he tries to use as his escape. But Batman tosses a fire extinguisher, knocking Deathstroke out cold. As he lays on the ground, Batman picks it up and puts out the burning Merc. Later in the Batcave, Bruce gets up from where Alfred bandages him, questioning whether Barbara found any prints on the note that was left. She shakes her head, still surprised that this man is staying one step ahead of them. The question is, what does he want? And why the cat and mouse game? Who is our mysterious man? And that concludes the Deathstroke arc of Batman The Adventure Continues. Next up, we're going to be covering the Azrael arc, and I hope you're as excited as I am, because I love Batman the Animated Series, and them having a continuation is incredible. I don't know why it took them so long to do this kind of thing, where they just expand upon the lore. The last storyline just kind of did stuff that already existed. Anyway, if you want to know when the next one comes out, please consider hitting that bell and turning on notifications. Also, press like and let me know in the comments down below what you thought about Batman the Animated Series' portrayal of Deathstroke. And if you want to support us even further, we do have a Patreon where a lot of these videos go early because I save them to put them up on YouTube when we need the time and the space and stuff like that. So they go up on Patreon first. If you want to get early access to a lot of our products over here, including videos that don't ever arrive over here, consider going to patreon.com/Comicstorian. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next time right here.